Hey, this is Azrael Lawless, and once again, you have fallen straight into Vella and found yourself another Lawless interview about the great topic that we all want to hear about, and that is the Kindle Vella reading platform. And this evening here with me is Theresa Halvorson. Theresa, say hi.
Hi.
And we're going to talk about all the things that we talk about in a Lawless interview. So, ready, set, go. First question is always, so, Theresa, when did you get started writing?
Honestly, my first story, I was 6 years old. I wrote a story about a princess whose plane crashed. And luckily, she ran into animals in the forest and they talked to her and they guided her back to her castle. I watched a lot of Disney at that point. Um, but my first real story. So I tried to write some fantasy stories. I think a lot of people kind of dabble in fantasy early on.
Yeah.
Um, Never really went anywhere. I didn't know about beta readers. I didn't know about editors. Oddly enough, the agents were not knocking on my door
Oh,
for that book. It was weird.
totally shocking.
I know, right? Yeah, I was all of like 20. Um,
You're like
so
20 years old.
yeah, I was
Oh,
like
that's
20.
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that.
But my first published book was the Dad's Playbook to Labor and Birth. It was a nonfiction book for men about how to support a laboring woman. At that time, I was a doula and a childbirth educator, and there wasn't very much on the market for men about like, here's how to help your partner, whether or not she wants an epidural or not. So, my
Nice.
first book. Um,
What year was this?
that was in 2012.
All right. And did you publish this as an indie author or did
I
you?
didn't. No, I had a book deal and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it sold over 10,000 copies,
Hey, wow.
right?
That's tremendous.
Yeah, no,
That's
it was good.
tremendous.
It was well received. So,
That's wonderful. I'm glad to
yeah.
hear that. That's a real success story.
Mhm.
Which publisher put it out?
It was with Harvard Common Press, and they got absorbed by I'm blanking on the name. It was with Harvard Common Press, and somebody else absorbed them. Oh, no, I don't remember what it was.
Well, so then after that, what did you write?
So after that, I took a break. We moved down to we moved down to the San Diego area. I took a full-time job. My sons became very active in theater and sports and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really have the time. Then I said, that's it. I'm getting back into writing. I love to write. I want to do this. I was getting older and I was like, if not now, then when?
Yeah.
And I wrote Warehouse Dreams. Warehouse Dreams was picked up by a publisher, by S&H Publishing. It did well, and then S&H closed their doors. So I was like, oh, come on, now I have to query this thing again. And so at that point, I was like, all right, time to go indie. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that was what year?
that was in 2019.
2019. So just
No,
before,
2020. 20.
so the pandemic had already hit.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So you decided you wanted to go indie in 2020. And did you put Warehouse Dreams up on Kindle Unlimited?
No, not on KU. I am wide. So I did Amazon, Ingram, Barnes and Noble, all of them.
Okay, got you, got
Yeah.
you, got you. And so very cool. Warehouse Dreams. What is that?
Warehouse Dreams is a dystopian romance. It's about a school of children with special needs told from the teacher's point of view. So it's a kind of Jessica Jones, because the teacher is very much like Jessica Jones, uh, with Harry Potter, with X-Men, all kind of mirrored into one. So it's a
Okay.
really fun story. It hasn't sold as well as a Dad's Playbook, but it's my best not my best fiction seller.
Okay, that's cool. So when did you hear about Kindle Vella? So right in this time?
So I actually remember when I heard about it, it was in December 2021. And the reason I remember it is that I was driving to an event and my friend was messaging me and she's like, hey, have you heard about Vella? And I'm like, no, what's that? And she goes, oh, it's the serialized fiction. The bonuses are really good. You should get in on that. And I said, yeah, that'd be cool. But didn't really have the time, kind of kept being like, I should get in on this. I should get in on this. I should get in on this. I and several other authors, we meet monthly. Vella kept getting talked about. People's bonuses kept getting talked about. I kept on saying, I need to do this, for crying out loud. And then in June, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I published my first episode of Vella, of lying, baking, and surfing.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. So June is when this one went up. Lying, baking, and surfing.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit about that and what inspired you for the
So
topic.
what inspired me? I have a very stressful day job. I work in healthcare. Even before 2020, it was very stressful, and COVID really exposed cracks in the healthcare community. No matter where you work, no matter what state you work in, healthcare is very, very broken right now. It's very stressful. And I had a coworker who said, "You know what I want to do? I want to quit and I want to go and knead dough." And I said, "You want to go be a baker?" She goes, "I don't want to bake. I just want to knead dough. I just want to knead dough." And I'm like, okay. And I said, and then it, like, as we authors do, I was like, and then like a hunky guy comes into the bakery that you're working at and you're wearing all these cute little clothes. And then the story goes from there. And so that's honestly what inspired me. So my main character, Sabrina, is a fired C-level executive at a marketing job. I had to stay away from healthcare, at a marketing firm. And all she wants to do is knead dough. She gets a job as a baker because she's like, I just want to knead dough.
That's wonderful.
And yeah.
How many episodes do you have?
It's 29 episodes. It's actually almost complete. Probably tomorrow I will hit send, submit, publish, whatever the button is. On the last episode, it's already uploaded and everything else. And then I will go and I will say, and complete.
Wow. Wonderful. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So, what, since this one's almost complete, anything else on the horizon?
Yes, because the bonuses are quite good. I actually am gonna do, I just drafted it out last night, actually. I'm gonna do a story in the warehouse world. So in the school, and what I'm doing is I'm doing 13 chapters on the same day from a different character's point of view. So, and it's going to advance the plot. It's not like you're just seeing the same thing over and over and over again. Right. The day's going to keep pushing forward. But the uniting factor in it is a character from the first Warehouse Dreams. It's a cat. His name is Mr. Sparklebutt, because nobody during the entire editing process said, why is a cat named Mr. Sparklebutt? Wow. And I kept waiting for someone to be like, can we change that name? And nobody ever did. So
no, nobody would want to change Mr. Sparklebutt's name.
Right. So, and I'm doing that so that I can get into the sequel for Warehouse Dreams. I have been promising that sequel, and it has been just so painful to write. I've probably written 3,000 words and it's all been terrible, and I've gotten too in my head with it. So I'm hoping this one kind of helps me reset and I can get that sequel finished.
Well, that sounds good. What's its working name?
Of the Vella?
Yeah.
Moving Day.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Cool. It always helps me to get a working name. Gives me direction. And it sounds like this one is one of those directional names as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's extremely cool. I like that a lot. And so also, what size are your episodes?
So I did a lot of research on this, and as I've been reading Vella's, I really like the Vella's that are about 1,200 to 1,400 words, are the Vella episodes. So I've really been sticking with that. That's an easy, quick read, and I think that's the idea of the serialized stories.
It is an easy, quick read, and enough to have a little bit of flavor.
Yes.
Yeah. it's tough to get that flavor in there in 600 words.
Correct. Yeah.
And I'm right there with you. I've found that the sweet spot is 1500.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 1500. And I've said this on other shows, but the way I found that out was like I started reading a lot of Vella's, and if they were freaking too long, just be like, scroll, when does this end?
Yes, isn't that fascinating? Even if you're enjoying it, you're like, yeah, get to the end.
I know. It's crazy. I just think it's the world we live in and how we are conditioned. All of the techno babble that is spouted at us day in, day out, all the screens we have to check, all the places we have to check in and do this, and do that. And oh dear God, I don't know, but I think that's what it is. And 1500 words is about all you can stomach before you want the next, you want it to end this little episode here.
Right.
So I can get on with whatever else I'm doing with my day.
Exactly. 1500 words is a good bathroom read.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And I've said that too. There is a book that's put out every year that's called the bathroom book or the toilet book or something. It's a book of short stories and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And anyway, well, let's see, you're too young probably to remember when people kept magazine racks and stuff in the bathroom so that you could have things
vaguely
in the bathroom. Yeah, maybe your grandparents. But my parents did. So I remember there's this magazine rack. How gross is that?
Right? I mean, now we're like, oh.
Well, all right then. So enough for nostalgia. So, well, you're going to wrap up lying, baking, and surfing. We can expect to see Moving Day and get introduced to Warehouse World via Vella. And we can go buy your book, Warehouse World, after that. Yep. And then you'll probably write some kind of epilogue.
Yes.
And put it up on Vella. So there you go.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's excellent. And okay, so you obvi have gone out and done yourself some reading.
Oh yeah.
To know where you are and what markets you're in and all that, which is excellent, super cool. Didn't dive in and start making 2,500 word episodes like yours truly here did.
I did some research,
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to get the crown.
Yeah. So tell me then, who, if anyone, do you like to read enough to shout out on your own dang interview?
So I would have to say Bloodlords by S. Faxon. So that's a really fun vampire story. Very quick read. It's campy and cheesy, but it's fun. I love the vampires.
Okay, so is S. Faxon?
S. Faxon, Faxon.
Okay, and that's Bloodlords, one word?
Bloodlords, 2 words.
Oh, well, all right then. Excellent. And one I haven't heard of. Go ahead.
There's also 531 by Chris Bannor. That's a cyberpunk, which is really fun. Okay. I wrote a contemporary romance, but I'm actually more in the spec fiction world. Yeah. And then the next one I would recommend, and she's still working on it, is Transcendence of Marciana by Isabella Marcus. And that's her second book. So go out and read the first one. And then she put her second one up on Vella.
Hang on. Transcendence of
Marciana.
Got that. And what is the author's name? Isabella
Marcus.
All right. Because their links go into your description too.
Awesome.
So that's cool. So 3 of them anymore?
I know this one's really popular, but I really love it. I love The Marriage Auction.
Do you?
I do. And I will forget this one, but I think it's also a Crown one. Werecat, werewolf. It's something it's very cute. It's about a cat that was adopted, and it's one of those like hairless. It looks like a werewolf cat. Um, and that's another one that I really enjoy.
Well, that's not helpful.
I
Werecat,
know.
werewolf.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so those are your shout outs.
Hmm.
The next question, this is hard too. Takes some thought. And you haven't really been in this long enough to really give this a solid answer, but I'm still going to ask it because everybody has to answer it. And that is, if you were made CEO of Vella tomorrow, what, if anything, would you do to improve both the reader and the writer experience?
So, two things, and one on the reader and one on the writer experience. This is the same answer I have about KU. There's got to be some quality controls. The typos, the grammatical errors, all of that stuff. I really would love to see some quality controls in Vella and in KU. I'm also an editor, and I think that's why that stuff bugs me, is I just see it. The other thing that I would do from the writer perspective is be more transparent about the bonuses. I understand why they're doing what they're doing. I get it, but I would like a better understanding of why the bonuses are the way that they are, what you get rewarded on, what you don't, and everything else. I understand it's a bucket of money and it's going to change and shift, but there's an algorithm behind it, and
Yeah.
I would like to know it because I want to game it. No,
Which is precisely why
that is why.
it is proprietary information and they will never give it to you.
No.
Yes, that was what I did in my former life.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, no, I understand. I 100% understand why they don't, but if I could.
Yeah, there might be elements of it that could disclose to us.
It would be nice.
But Teresa, look at what happens. Even, I mean, you have a nice thing like Kindle Vella, which is helping a lot of people, which is bringing a lot of new voices up to the top of the indie cream bucket so that they can be heard, you know. And these people are putting money into the indie publishing industry by taking the money that Vella gives them for their bonuses, right back into covers and formatting and editorial work.
Amazon ads. I funnel mine into Amazon ads.
Yes, Amazon ads for your books, but see, we don't have Amazon ads yet for the Kindle Vella.
Right.
And that would be nice to have. But I just hate it that super unethical people go out there and figure out how they can take
just game the system.
Piece of writing, right? They take some piece of writing, some clump of it, run it a couple of times through a translator so that it becomes kind of, it's just word salad at that point.
Right.
And then they bust that thing up into episodes and they upload it, and then they hire a click farm.
Yep. Well, and that's what I mean about
so big that that this is worth it to them.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I mean about the quality control. If we had some quality control, it would catch that.
They make you believe that they read them. I don't think they do.
There's no way. No. And I've noticed too, they're faster about uploading them too. It used to be I would hit publish and it would take 12, 14 hours. Now it's under an hour.
Oh, I haven't done one under an hour. Wow. Well, they have been working on that. I want you to know they have they reached a point one time where it was almost 2 weeks before you would see your
yeah, that's not okay. Well, I'm glad they fixed that.
Right, but you entered in June. It's been pretty stable since you've been in. Yeah. And and it's growing and it's wonderful. I'm just really happy that we have it. It's exciting.
Me too, because the thing about writing is that you don't get paid to write as you're writing it. You get paid once it's done, hopefully, fingers crossed. This, you actually get to get paid as you're developing it.
Right. And as I
Uh,
said, people are taking their money from their Vella and slapping it right on the cover of their book.
mhm,
And the world goes round, and they're getting also Kindle Unlimited customers because
mhm.
they're doing that.
Yeah. Well, and with more money going into it, we can improve the quality of the covers and the editing and the formatting and everything else. You know, indie publishing is not cheap at all.
No.
Not if you really want to be competitive. It takes a good amount of money. So Bella helps us get some of that money. So you're right, we can pump it back in.
Right. And I think that Amazon knows exactly what's going on, knows that there is a larger group of writers than there are readers right now.
There is. I agree.
They know this. They know
Mhm.
this. And yet we are still building the content and we are
Mhm.
consuming the content. Okay. I mean, they're not going to have a higher coin price for somebody who's a non-writer on Vella.
Right.
Vella writers' money is as good as anybody else's. We have to buy the coins
Mhm.
in order to read the stories. So the playing field is level.
Yes.
And I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really, really glad I started doing this. I've really been liking it.
Yeah, and I'm just so happy to see new voices. You're not exactly new. You were in on Kindle in 2019, 2020,
Mhm.
but that's still pretty recent,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And this has still presented another opportunity for you to be heard.
Yes.
So I think that's extremely cool.
Me too.
And working in healthcare, well, thank you for doing that.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think I could now, all right, and now that I'm older.
Mhm.
But back, in my younger days, I just couldn't. I couldn't have done it.
That's a lot of patience. Well, the patience, and also it takes a lot of patience. And yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And so I just admire anybody who does that kind of work. I really do. I've
Thank
always
you.
said my next life, I'm going to do something worthwhile like that. You know,
Yeah.
do something that actually helps people. I spent my entire working life working for lawyers that basically, well, they were all
Gotcha.
black hat lawyers because that's who can pay.
Mhm.
You don't
Yep.
you don't get a big paycheck at a plaintiff's firm.
No.
No.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
anyway, I don't know why I'm waxing philosophical. It's probably because we scheduled this thing after 6 o'clock. And I kind of turn into a bat and start hanging from my feet and, reminiscing about the 70s and 80s right about now.
Oh,
Not true, but
I hear you.
yeah. Um, I've been doing a lot of reading of horror stories and stuff because
Hmm.
I've got a story on the head burner. And
Oh, fun.
so yeah, so it's affecting my dreams and everything else because I'm
Oh.
looking into that particular
Mhm.
genre of old horror, and
Yeah, that's your subconscious working.
it is too bad the rest of my brain is not online, but the subconscious, that's great. So one of the things I do is I link everything that we talk about here on this show, the shout outs, and of course your stuff, and we'll
Thank
link
you.
your author profile, your books, and of course your Vella. Your Vella will go first.
Thank you.
And so I would like to know, because we do have a lot of people who come out here that watch these videos and they click on the links to see what these people write. And I want to know, what would you like to say to the people who are clicking on those links and taking a look at your work for the first time?
Oh, thank you. I think that's the biggest thing. Just thank you. Thank you for letting me have my dream of being able to be an author. Not full time yet, maybe one day, but thank you. And then if you read Warehouse Dreams, there's a lot of cursing in it. A lot. A lot. You have to be okay with that.
Well, how is that possible? People in healthcare don't swear.
Never.
Yeah, right. So, well, that's wonderful. And an attitude of gratitude will get you a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have to hold on to that. There's so many wonderful things, and not just in my writing life, but in my life in general. I have so many things to be grateful for.
Yes, I think we all do. We
Mhm.
all, all of us who have, place to stay, enough to eat.
Still alive.
Yep, yep, all that stuff. So, all right, you've seen it here. It's been another Lawless interview. This has been Teresa Halvorson and Azriel Lawless. And I guess we're going to wish you a good evening and come back and see us. Be sure and like this video, comment on it, and for sake, what is that called? Join the channel. Subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. We're going to have some kind of subscription drive one of these days. All right, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, that's wrong. I hit the wrong button. See?